היי!
שלום, שלום. ברוכים הבאים לעוד מיטאפ של JavaScript Israel, המיטאפ הראשון לשנת 2021. מחיאות כפיים, יפה, אני מקווה שכולכם יושבים עכשיו בבית ומוחאים איתנו כפיים. האמת שאני די נרגש, עברתי גם את המיטאפ הראשון של JavaScript Israel לשנת 2020, עכשיו אנחנו מעברים את הראשון של שנת 2021. טוב, בואו נראה מה יהיה עוד שנה, ואם אולי בטעות נעביר אותו גם בחזרה בגוגל קמפוס, ולא באונליין, או עוד שיש בזה גם יתרונות. בואו נתחיל בכמה דברים. דבר ראשון, בואו דברו, אתם רוצים לדבר ב-JavaScript Israel, יש פה את הלינק, תרגישו CFP בכיף, מי שגם אפילו יש לו פחד קהל וכאלה, זה ממש זמן טוב, בזום אתם יכולים פשוט אפילו לא להסתכל על המצלמה, לעשות איזה בובה או משהו מולכם, ופשוט דמיין שאתם מדברים לא מול קהל של אנשים, זה ממש אחלה הזדמנות, כל נושא שבא לכם שקשור ל-JavaScript, רק תגישו. יש לנו Code of Conduct, מזכירים ל-Code of Conduct, נראה לי שהתנתקתי ונראה. אוקיי, מצוין, עוד שאמרתי, שנת 2021 ועדיין אני באינטרנט של הוט, אז אני מצטער. רגע, נראה לי שהתנתק לי על זה. קודם כל, תודה רבה לספיקר בדיס שלנו, כל האלה שבעצם עוברים איתנו כל מיטאפ מחדש, עוברים עם המרצים, אם אתם מגישים הרצאה, תדעו שאתם לא לבד, אין לכם מה לפחד, יש לנו צוות מאוד מקצועי של ספיקר בדיס, שיבוא, יראה איתכם את ההרצאה, יראה לכם את ההרצאה, יעבור איתכם בעצם על הכל, יראה שאתם ככה בסדר, יעבור איתכם לצגת בצורה מאוד מקצועית, ממש נחמד מאוד מקצועית, וכמובן, תודה רבה לטרקס, הספונסרים שלנו, שמאפשרים את קיום האירוע הזה כבר תקופה ארוכה, והם גם, כמה שהבנתי, גם נשארו איתנו גם לשנה הקרובה, אז תודה רבה. אני שולח לכם לינק בצ'אט, כולם להסתכל לצ'אט, כולם להיכנס ללינק הזה, ולמלא את השם שלכם, להגרלה של וואלאבי, או קווקה ווובסטורם, כנסו, תמלאו, אנחנו נקבל עכשיו את המרצה הראשונה שלנו, מאיה.
Okay. Okay, hi everyone. So it's always weird, but nice to be here again in JavaScript Israel meetups. And as you can see, today we're going to have a little bit of fun with one piece. Well, it's a Vue 3 one piece. And I'm going to talk about Composition API, the very exciting feature of Vue 3. And we're going to talk a bit what's going next in the ecosystem. And if we have enough time, we're going to do a little bit of live coding. So stay tuned. But before everything, let's say what the highlight of Vue 2 up to the point before Vue 3. So Vue 2 are very well known that is unlike React, which on the component in Vue are written based on the option-based API, which is a configuration API. So you pass an object of configuration, and Vue will create a component based on this object. And it's very lightweight because Vue actually focus more on the UI aspect of the front end. So with all due respect, we cannot compare between Vue and React, which one is lighter in size, because React and Vue are built for two different things here. Vue very focused on a lot in providing a very straightforward and very good experience for developer by making a lot of tools in the ecosystem from the core team or endorsed by the core team like Vuex, Vue Router, Vue CLI to make sure that all the development are very seamless, working well with developer and easy to start. So, and also Vue are very scalable and very fast. So Vue 2 is great. At this point, everyone agreed to that. Or if you don't, it's okay. But of course, like almost all the other framework, it's great, it's not perfect. So there's more to improve. And in 2019, React hooks was introduced, and then were inspired by this and by the functional component, because up until here, writing functional component in Vue is not really a very good options for most people. So even you release Vue 3 that also provide an additional API beside the option-based API for compose component, and it's allow developer to write functional component easily. And also because of this, Vue become more and more lighter, because it allow user to now decide how to bundle Vue and what to bundle depending on what the use case, and that's mean they have a better tree shaking. And more than that, Vue also focus on providing the good support for TypeScript out of the box at the priority, instead of being an additional like in Vue 2. But again, all of this, of course, come in exchange for some breaking changes. So what are the new things in Vue 3? I would like to say that Vue 3 is more like Vue 2. Some of the Vue 2 combined with some new stuff, and in addition, take the old one and rewrite or improve it. Say some in Vue 2 will deprecate most of the things that we don't really use, and some things will improve, like render function API to be more friendly, lifecycle hook changes to be more adaptive and more easily to understand from developer point of view, and scope, CSS, so on. In addition, new API were introduced like teleport, fragment, and mid composition API, which are our topic today. So what is composition API? Well, composition API is the set of methods or low-level APIs that allow developers to actually use the Vue features on the Vue features outside the scope of Vue component. Before in Vue 2, there's no way to do that. You actually have to create, can only access Vue features of Vue API within the component within a certain properties function of the option-based API. So for composition API, this have changed. So what's good about composition API? Well, like I say, composition API provide another additional way to write component. Before, when we have option-based API, we actually can end up with a very long, very complex component, which to scroll up, scroll down to find the logic, is to group the logic together in the complex component is super hard. This help us to simplify this, and this also help us to actually found which logic is very similar and take it out, put it aside. Still, the logic can be right with the composition API, can use Vue features in the logic, but it's reusable. And it's, well, you can argue that we can do that in Vue 2 with mixin, but unlike mixin, we don't have to worry about overlapping the property name. If there's problem like that may happen if you mix in another component, and by accident the component have the same property name or the same data, then everything will go messy. In the other hand, it's also solve the problem that mixin can solve, such as in mixin you cannot really modify the function in mixin or the logic in mixin a little bit according to the sub use case. With composition API, this can be done. So let's take a look about what composition API provides us. So composition API provides a set of functions or methods in which I would like to divide into three main categories. The first category is how to deal with creating component, like rendering, define component, how to use lifecycle hooks. The second group is how to deal with reactivity, data, local state management, and on the other compute, for example. And the last group is whatever left, which is how you pass, how you create the data flow of past data from ancestor to children, or how you make the data immutable, and so on. Technically, the composition API, some of them, or most of them, are just the abstract logic of the property, the same property name in the option-based API of Vue 2, which means a component like this in Vue 2 we still most likely be reused and will still most likely works in view 3 if you upgrade to view 3. But it also, in addition, can be rewrite using the composition API. Like you can define a component and pass the object of configuration, and you can use a setup method, the new setup method provided by view 3, and together with lifecycle hook API form the composition API to create the watch and the mouse listener, or to create a watch, to create compute element, to create reference, reactive reference, so on. Or you can also use to pass data from ancestor to children on, can be together, and it doesn't need to be at the level of the configuration. It can be at the level of the functional inside the setup or inside the render, and so on. And what next? You can also define immutable state to make sure that there's no one that can modify the state or make it or unwanted changes to the certain state at a certain prompt. So we're using read only. And also, because composition API really inspire a lot by React hooks, so we have something called watch effect. It's similar to use effect in React, which allow us to apply side effect based on the reactive state. In addition, it will provide a function for invalidate the watch the side effect whenever we want to destroy the component. For lifecycle, on the lifecycle in view 2 remain almost the same in view 3. The only thing change is that before destroy and destroy, they will be renamed to before unmount and unmounted for a better naming convention and more consistent to before mount and mount, and also easier for people to understand from different framework. And in addition, we have 2 additional lifecycle hook, render track and render trigger for render. So to use lifecycle hooks in composition API, we use within setup. A setup is a function will call before it will create the component will created, which means we don't need the hook for before create or created. Instead, we use other lifecycle hook that directly from composition API, which means we call it before mount or before update using the prefix on and then the lifecycle. And that's it. Well, I know by this time you're already very, very tired and it's very confusing. It's boring because it don't talk, right? So see when they believe in. So let's take a look about the code. We have about 4 minutes, so let's hopefully have enough. Okay, so I have a component. It's the mimicking of the image component we built for in Cloudinary for view, and it have a render function. It actually a render like functional component, a render function which it receive a create element, a render function from view, and then it return a render function. So in order to use this, we can actually use the same render function in view 3 and just change the create element to import the render function directly from view. But for this demo purpose, I'm going to use setup. So setup doesn't have create element. Instead, it receives 2 parameters, one in prop and one in context. Because setup will come before the component created, so there's no this. So we can delete this one. And let's say now everything we have to return a function, a render function. So for this, we're using we call it the hash, which is the render function provided by view. And we don't need in nice and about view 3 that everything is flat, so we don't need to make it a very nested like this. We can just remove everything and we move everything here. Okay, and that should be it. So still we will have a fun problem because the rep is not working anymore. It's deprecated. So for that, we will use a diff we're using ref. So that we create a ref con, let's say C image equal ref, and we pass a non-function. Yeah. And then here we will do see image. Because we're using ref here in view 3, we cannot access it directly, so we do see image dot value, and of course we need to make sure that it's valid. And here we can pass the C image here. Sorry, we don't need to pass the image value, and now it will work. But there's one more problem, that this one is not dynamically, like it's not reactive, because the setup is called once when the component is created. So during the component already created, it will not be called again. So we need to create some sort of a watch or some sort of function that run when the component is updated. You can use computed, you can use watch, you can use any hook that you want. But in this demo, we're going to use lifecycle hook. Is on before update. Say, and on before update, we see a function. Let's see a function here. So by right, we can actually copy all of this, because what it does is on update, before update, we're going to see the prop and going to calculate the URL of the image based on what we receive from the parents. However, this is not good, because we have to copy all the code and create code duplication. So let's just synchronize. Let's just create a function called set image, and what it does is actually copy paste everything from here inside here. But pay attention that we don't want, let's say we don't want to create a new image, we don't want to set to unload again, so we can just take it everything outside. And also we don't want the source to be reset all the time, because we also want it to be reactive. So here we can use the source like this, sort, where we're using ref, and we pass a empty string, and here we will do sort value equal, and it should be, and then with here we can do something like this. We don't need to pass anything, which is that set image. And before we finish, we call set image, and that should be it. Now let's see if it's it's working for us. Rotate. Oh, it's worked, right? That's how it's very simple. Now, if you want to reuse, let's say we want to make sure all the logic related to Cloudinary will be put in Cloudinary, and we reuse to another image component, another video component, anything that in the future we don't want to keep inside the image component, then we can actually create take this logic outside. So here I'm taking the logic we talked before and put in a function in a file called Cloudinary, and call a function called init. What it does is just return a placeholder and a URL already computed. And here all I need to do is just to comment here, and we just create const URL and placeholder and equal init, and we pass props. And then all of this we don't need, and all of this we also don't need. We just need to make sure that it will be URL, and then we can just make sure that if it's placeholder, we take the placeholder. If not, then we take the URL, and so on. That's it. Now let's just check if it's working, and check. And we can check here, and you can see it working. And that's it. That is our live demo. Wow, I'm very late. Okay, so what is next? Next, well, we're using Vite. Should use Vite because Vite is awesome. I create my demo project with Vite, and it's super fast. And migration tool in Q1 already have a plan for it. They will, the core team will create some tools to do easy migration from component view 2 to view 3. But it's probably only work for simple component. View 5 integration, view 5 migration well, I don't know about that because I haven't tried Vue 4 yet. So anyway, Vue router, the latest one. And finally, we finally get rid of IE11, even though the core team say they want to make Vue 3 support IE11, but I'm not so keen in that. So before we finish, just a bit about myself. I'm Maya, and I'm a senior front-end developer in Cloudinary. I'm also a co-maintainer of Storefront UI, which is a UI component framework for e-commerce. I'm an ambassador of Nuxt.js, a server-side rendering framework on Vue, and I like to write anything up or speak about anything that related to front-end, JavaScript, and web. You can find me at Twitter handle at Maya Shavin, or you can visit my website, mayashavin.com. And thank you very much for joining me.
Wow, Maya, great. you look so excited when you talk about Vue. I never saw so much excitement for someone. You really like it.
It was very well. First of all, it was very excited. Very exciting because I like Vue and I really like Vue 3. It doesn't mean I don't like React. I work with React daily, and I do like React. But Vue is just a Vue, you know. And secondly, because suddenly I received an email like about a week ago saying that I have 15 minutes for my talk instead of 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do it?
No, it's okay. Yeah, the thing I like about the new Vue is that you can actually, you show how you just take huge code block, delete, huge code block, delete. It's really nice. Thank you, Maya. Thank you very much. Now we're
anyone
going.
haven't tried Vue, use Vue. Try Vue, use Vue. It's great.
I never tried, but I might give it a shot.
Yeah, you should. You should. And let me know how it goes. Thank you.